What up, YouTube? It's been a long time since I did a video. It seems like been only a week, but yeah, I've just been busy and everything. Yeah, usually I come out with my review. I can't even get a word out right now. Usually I come out with my reviews. Let's say a day after I see the movie or something like that. But I've been busy. Uh, just been busy, really. Actually, to tell you the truth. But I finally saw this movie, Space Jam. And I've been hearing what a lot of people have been saying. It's come out during the height of the NBA Finals right now and everything. Uh, well, let's just say this. It was a movie. Let's just say that. But let's go into what I saw with this movie. Now, when it comes to this movie, I will try to take my biased opinion and bring my unbiased opinion about this movie. Because anybody who's been on the channel, who's been subscribed to this channel, probably, let's say, since October, maybe October, late September of last year, you would know that I'm not a big fan of LeBron James anymore, as I used to be. As we all know, like I said, anybody who's been on the channel since last year, I'm not a big fan of his double talking self. Not a big fan of his comments that has been saying about race and all that stuff, basically making a fool out of himself, and how he, like I said, he's double talking. He'll say one thing about what's going on in this country and don't say anything about what's going on in China, but we're not here to talk about that right now. If you want to hear my thoughts about LeBron James and his comments about China and every sort of other thing he's been saying, I'll probably link that video down below, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Space Jam. Now, like I said, I'm going to take my unbiased opinion and give you what I thought about this movie. What I thought about this movie before it even came out, sad to say, it's not even harsh to say, but it's the truth. He's chasing Jordan. He's chasing Michael Jordan with this movie, of course. First, I think he said he wasn't even going to try to do it. LeBron said he wasn't going to try to do it. I think this was like 10 years ago, but now we're here. And I said before this movie was released, it's basically going to be almost like the original Space Jam. This movie's not toe for toe with it, but it has its comparisons, its similarities. The one thing that stands out the most with this whole entire movie is probably the most funniest part of this movie is LeBron James acting. His acting is so terrible. It is so dry. It's like he's reading off the teleprompter. These people out here side with bikes messing up my review, but it's like he's outside, like he's talking to a teleprompter. It has like the delivery is not very well delivered. Let's just say that it really isn't. It's quite terrible, and it comes off as corny and funny. Now, when Jordan did it, it didn't come off as corny and funny like when he did the first original Space Jam. So, yeah, the acting is bad, but this is another thing I have to say about this. Because I know there's a lot of LeBron James stands out there. And they've been revealing themselves for the last few days. And they've been trying to cop out this movie by saying, it's a kid's movie. He's supposed to be corny. He's supposed to be corny like that. Keep in mind, this is the same type of people who give the MCU movies a pass when it comes to the like people like Kevin Feige not honoring what the character is in the comic books when it comes to the Marvel movies. These are the same type of people that say that. There's kids movies and there's good kids movies. Space Jam, the original one, was a good kids movie. Toy Story 1 and 2 was a good kids movie. Lion King was a good kids movie. The anime, not that CGI crap that came out a couple years ago. And I haven't seen Frozen, so I won't speak about it. I don't really watch Disney products like that. Unless it's the MCU. Starting to become less of that now. But from what I heard, Frozen is a good kids movie. Something like that. This is subpar. I ain't saying it's terrible. I won't go that far, but it's subpar. The other thing about this movie, it didn't bother me, but I just sat there and like, really? It was. I want to say this movie is basically a. These people in their motorcycles. Basically, this movie was a. Of course, I'm trying to say this the best appropriate way. Shrine to Lebron. Not only was it a shrine to LeBron, because this movie kind of does start off the same way, like the original Space Jam. You got showing Michael Jordan when he was little, show LeBron when he was little. Credits roll, show all Michael Jordan's highlights, show all LeBron's highlights. But this movie is much more of a jerk off circle. Yeah, I'm gonna say it, jerk off circle to Warner Brothers as well. There was many parts of this movie. It's just the product placement. It was just out there and terrible. So Bugs Bunny, which I'll get to that later. Bugs Bunny and LeBron travel amongst the Warner Brother universe, which is this whole movie is based on the inside of a computer and video game built by LeBron James' fictional son in this movie, which is supposed to be the youngest son in real life. But this movie is based on like a whole video game, and Don Cheadle is the main villain, and it's basically Don Cheadle playing himself as a bad guy. And I forgot what his name was in this movie, something computer. But they go through LeBron James and Bugs Bunny go through like all of Warner Brothers properties, which are planets, and they go through the Matrix. They go through DC. They go through Game of Thrones. They go through what's the other ones? Looney Tunes, of course. Harry Potter, which is now I don't even think Harry Potter is really a Warner Brothers anymore. It's so synonymous with Universal now. It's kind of hard to think it was Warner Brothers, but only in the theme parks Universal has it. But they go through all these worlds, all these properties. Basically, it's just a product placement and a jerk circle for Warner Brothers. So the product placement is just out there, really, in this movie. The plot wasn't just save the son. The son is basically this movie is LeBron James versus his son. His son joins the Goon Squad, which is led by Don Cheadle, versus the Toon Squad, which is the original characters, this time with LeBron. Versus, like I said, the Goon Squad. The Goon Squad is made up of WNBA and NBA basketball players. You got Damian Lillard, Anthony Davis, people like that going against that. And father and son are going against each other. Eventually, father and son join each other. The son goes to the Toon Squad and everything. It's basically, towards the end, it's the same thing as the first one. You got to beat the bad guys in order to save all the Looney Tunes, which is going to be my next thing. The Looney Tunes, some of them, maybe because I'm older, but I still like Looney Tunes. I got box sets of the Looney Tunes sitting right over there inside my room. It seems like the Looney Tunes, to me, I ain't saying anybody else, they come up as dry to me. I don't know what it is. The voice acting is different from Bugs. It's not what I usually know about Bugs Bunny. I think it's a different voice actor doing it. It just didn't come out as right. Like, it just came out as dry. There's so many cameos in this movie with famous people, like Michael B. Jordan, guys, moment in here. But so the basketball game that they play is surrounded by random people and movie characters, and I was more interested in trying to find out the movie TV characters that are in the background, in the crowd. Like, you got Batman, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze, the Night King, and the White Walkers from Game of Thrones. And then you have, I think I said King Kong, Iron Giant, Jabberjaw, Space Ghost. You have a whole bunch of people in here. Catwoman, Robin. Actually, the Batman and Robin's from the Adam West Batman. Same thing with Catwoman. You got the Joker from 1989. You got just a whole bunch of people. I was more interested in looking at that more than the game. I just have to say that I know people don't want to hear this because, like I said, we got LeBron James stands in here. But I have to say the original Space Jam is just a tad bit better. The thing about the original Space Jam, it was new for its time for 1996. MJ is the GOAT. I don't care what anybody else say. I still think Kobe is just a tad bit better than LeBron. Uh, the music that they had in the original Space Jam, you still listen to today. I still listen to some of it today. The music in this movie just didn't come out as right. That's, I want to say, what kind of made Space Jam a classic. What's also the music, especially by R. Kelly. I don't know, his name is, what has gone on with R. Kelly since then. But that I Believe I Can Fly is like synonymous with Space Jam. This movie doesn't really have any of that. This movie just basically comes up as dry. And I know it's probably made for the newer generation of kids. If I had a kid right now, I'll make them watch the original Space Jam. Forget LeBron, just Space Jam. Just me. That's just how it is to me. There's so many other things I'm going with this movie. But overall, the terrible acting and I won't say the plot is convoluted, but just the terrible acting and overacting by Don Cheadle. I know people say it's a kids movie, but a kids movie can be terrible. Ask Disney about their kids movies in the 80s and other studios kids movies that are not really remembered to this day. I had to give this movie a 6 out of 10. That's just how I feel about it. It's opinion. I just think the original Space Jam is better. Sorry, hurt the feelings out there, but I don't give a damn. The original Space Jam is better. Going forward with this movie, I hope there's no more coming out. I don't think really, unless there's somebody better than Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron, I don't think we'll see another Space Jam. Maybe it'll take another 20 years, who knows. But that is pretty much that when it comes to that. I don't want to get too much into the plot because the plot is just simple. Just save the tunes, beat the Goon Squad, save the tunes, make sure they don't get deleted, make sure LeBron don't stay. I think if LeBron would have lost that game, he would have stayed like in that computer glitch game and all that stuff. So I just thought the father and son rivalry was just kind of weird. It kind of started off with the youngest son, because they do portray all his kids in there, but the youngest son wanted to go a different way other than just being a basketball player. He wanted to create video games, and LeBron was just kind of hard on the youngest son because he wanted the youngest son to basically follow in now LeBron's footsteps, and the older son, which really in real life is LeBron James Jr. In that footsteps, that's basically what the plot is. With LeBron eventually comes to realize that his son can have his own path in no way. I guess that part of the story is good. It was just different from Jordan's, because Jordan was kind of focused more on his retirement and him playing baseball. And this movie, they kind of jabbed LeBron with his past antics with him jumping from team to team, chasing rings. They kind of do that with that. But like I said, overall, this movie is probably a 6 out of 10. And I gotta hurry up because I'm running out of battery too. 6 out of 10. It was all right. I can't really bash it. Like I said, I took my thing I wanted to say about this movie before I go. Switch my hat around and everything. Space Jam. That's much about this movie, but the original one, Space Jam, was probably not just me. I wouldn't say just me. Probably some other people out there, especially those 90s kids out there now. This movie is probably what brought some people to basketball, made them love the sport, made them start playing the sport. I know it did for me. This is right before MJ retired the second time, 96, so yeah, that makes sense. Right before that game, I think pretty much this movie, Space Jam, the original one, is what made me start loving basketball. It's funny, Jordan made me love basketball. LeBron has made me hate basketball. That's my biased opinion, that one. But just saying, he has. Not just what he has been saying. Just some of the antics he's been doing, creating all these super teams and all that stuff. I don't want to go too much into sports, but that's what I mean by LeBron making me basically having me not like basketball anymore. Uh, I think the original movie inspired millions. It had a little bit more heart to it. I ain't saying Jordan was the best, is the best personality was outside of basketball. I'm not saying that at all, because we're not going to talk about that right now. But I think as far as a basketball player, I think he inspired a lot of people to get into it, even LeBron himself, of course, but people in the 90s and ain't in the NBA, I think he inspired a lot. I think he really did. It can either be him or Kobe or even LeBron or even somebody else right now, like Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, and Giannis right now. But that's what this movie is pretty much when it comes to me, the original one. Now this one, it could probably can be what gets somebody into basketball now. Who knows? But I just thought the original movie has a little bit more heart to it. And I also thought the villains, the Monstars, had a little bit more pizzazz to them, unlike what I saw in the original movie. So there's even a weird scene when we thought we was actually gonna get Michael Jordan. It was actually Michael B. Jordan. Sorry, but it's kind of funny that LeBron had that look on his face that we gonna get Michael Jordan, but so that's pretty much it with the review. Once again, I said 6 out of 10. I'll give it that. Fight me. Don't care. That's what it is, what it is. Y'all can say whatever. But before I go, you guys know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll probably be back with more reviews. But peace, I'm out of here. Y'all be safe. Bye.